Greetings and welcome to Geek Speak, episode number 2020. We're in those digits, the twos.
That's
we
right.
have Alex. Alex, welcome back.
Hi. Happy to be back.
We are less than 1 week away from, and actually, theoretically, this will drop the 28th, which is the week of Worlds. So we still won't know any results, but we're gonna like, I guess, just have fun specking on Worlds. I'm not up 100% on the meta, but you know, I know that there's some fun stuff happening. It sounds like a lot of people are, you know, all the Rosetta set was just a bombshell, so I'm guessing that that's going to be, you know, probably in the mix. I think Zen is done.
I mean, I wouldn't say so. Zen won 4 Pro Quests last week, so he is very much so still a competitor in the meta. But honestly, I mean, like, the game really seems to favor either real hyper control deck or real hyper aggro deck.
So let's look at the, I'm going to go to Games, Living Legends. So the very first thing is I have the Worlds 2024 Osaka link pulled up. I'm just going to, I guess we'll cover some basic things about that for the future of the world that might be watching this. So we have Worlds is going to be in Osaka this year. This will be, the 3rd World Championship in the Flesh and Blood ecosystem.
That is correct.
I have my current... I can't say minions. He doesn't work for me. I don't know. But I have a friend, at least I believe, online friend, that will be helping me obtain my cracked bauble that is going to have the world's symbol on it. I have my first 2 from the first, being the WTR Alpha one that was in the first one. Then I have the Arcane Rising first ed from the second. And I'm really hoping we get the first edition Crucible of War for the 3rd one, but if nothing else, it'll hopefully just be regular Crucible War Unlimited. But then I'll have my Crack Bauble series, and that was my plan going forward, as I was going to do each set in subsequent succession as they go. Obviously, never able to catch up because there's more than one set a year, but still kind of a fun thought process. So that's one of the joke things I do. But I say joke, but I love Crack Bauble, and that's like the most interesting. Nobody is going to grade a Crack Bauble. Like I'm well, you know what? I'm gonna go look at.
If you pay them, they will grade it. It is a matter of fact. They will definitely grade it.
How many people have graded a stupid Crack Bauble now? I'm
curious. You're probably a lot. Believe it or not, I don't believe you are the only Crack Bauble enthusiast. I believe there are several people who are constantly getting new baubles.
24 alpha first edition Crack Baubles. There are 6 pristine 10s. There's a 9.5 and a 7. I'm sorry, a 9.5. There's 11 9.5s and 7 9s. I think my WTR Alpha is one of the 9s only, but I think it's the only one with the world moniker.
There you go.
I don't know. I was just being cute when I did it, I guess. So I haven't looked at the PCG Pop Report in a long time, so that's something. Anyways, back to the actual
it's a fun thing.
Silly world we're in. Osaka's happening. It'll be October 31st, November 3rd. Lots of money on the table. Looks like people are all excited about it. A lot of people, I've seen several people talk about Worlds. So what's your thoughts on just in general? Like, obviously this will be not in the U.S., so.
Correct, yeah. So, I mean, anybody who's able to go, obviously, if you have the opportunity, I mean, if you haven't already booked your stuff, like, you're probably not making it, but by all means, if you are going, it's looking to be a really, really fun time, regardless if you're in the main event or not. If you're in Worlds, like, obviously there's a lot there. You know, you have the opportunity to become the 3rd ever world champion and to technically dethrone the previous world champion, which is really cool to see. I'm curious if they had to have qualified. I'm curious. So
I wonder if there will be a double. Like, will this be the first double world champion? Will Hamilton, who lives just down the road, will he be able to come on back and be the double world champion, the first 2-time professional Flesh and Blood champion?
That would be cool. I mean, like, I think to see a reigning champion, somebody either get their title back or just keep that title for themselves it's really critical to the play style of the individual. And I know the only thing I've been seeing is a lot of people have just been saying they're not sure what they want to play. A lot of people are just, pro players are quite literally like flipping a coin between two decks to determine what they want to play, because there are so many good answers into the meta that it's difficult to choose what is going to be the choice, and I don't ever believe there's a one choice. I believe overall it comes down to how do you play your deck? Do you play it differently? Is it something that you're comfortable with? And is it something that you believe you could at least go into the top 10 heroes and win with? So
Sure. Well, it
there's a
looks
lot.
like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying, like, there's a lot riding on it for the overall worlds, but like there is a lot of side events for this too.
I was
So
just about to make that comment. So you have the
yeah.
main championship. It looks like there's also a calling. There's a battle harden, which is
Yep.
living legend. I want to call that out. So that'll be technically
Hmm.
prior to the one that I think I know I'm gonna at least try to go to it. I assume you may still try to go to the one in Chicago.
I'm
Uh,
Yeah, I'm gonna do my darndest. I don't actually think I'm gonna be able to, because some stuff's happening at my work that might require me to end up having to be there. So I am going to temporarily say no, but if I happen to catch a red eye, I'm going out there. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, but yeah, basically the different events, and then obviously it looks like there's some interesting stuff. I also am curious, like if on that page, the link I sent you, they show
huh?
a specific card art that is right there, and it's actually I think it's from Crucible Awards, the three warrior, or it looks like maybe ninjas going against some beast or whatever. I
Yeah,
remember
you're talking about reinforce the line.
it is reinforced line. Okay, I was trying to
Hmm.
find the name of that card, but I
Yep.
know the artwork enough to know I remember seeing it, and it I really really love that artwork, and I wonder if that has any relevance to something that we don't know about yet, just a theory. Um, Also, there looks like there's a team cup, so that'll be something. I haven't seen a lot of
Yep.
team events, but that sounds like that would be pretty interesting. I don't see commoner. I'm sure they have side events that'll have that kind of stuff. When I clicked on the Osaka, I guess, packages, because I do want to talk about the things you can buy.
Hmm.
Looks like there's the World Championship package. There's the calling package. There's a bunch of promos, which we can dive into that in a minute if you want. There's
Hmm.
that Fabled main event package. There's a souvenir package, which was limited and it's sold out, but it was 70,000 yen, or JYP, which I was
Yep.
trying to Google how much that is. That's 460 USD as of today's filming.
Yep.
But it has the Japanese exclusive IRA and the Japanese World Champion packs, or maybe it's not a specific Japanese, but it's World Champion pack. And then there's like a bunch of other. I guess there are side events. There's a double. There's an IRA. There's a lot. There's a metric ton. Hey, look,
There are
looks like
commoner events.
James White is actually
Com-
going to be there. I didn't realize that. Special guest.
there's
James
a
White.
there is a commoner event on Friday at 1 p.m. There is the commoner gold foil event at 10 a.m. on Saturday, and then another. Well, I'm curious what that is.
What is it?
It says commoner, but it says WTRQ.
Which day is that on? Friday or Saturday?
That's on Saturday, 2 p.m.
Oh, yeah. The classic construct WTRQ.
Oh, you know what? I can just look at it.
Oh, I think WTRQ is the qualifying for the WTR like special draft
Oh,
or
for
the alpha.
yeah, for the from the alpha booster draft.
So
A
I think
random
that-
player will be invited to Sunday 1 p.m. Welcome to Wraith Alpha Draft.
See,
Alpha booster draft.
that is cool. A random player. Now,
That's cool.
back when I seen one of these happen the first time, where it wasn't random, it was the top. I think it was the winner or whatever on each of there was a couple events. So I would do a ton of these if I had a random chance, because even if there was, 40, 50 people, that's still a 1 or 2% chance that I get a free alpha pack in a draft, which cool, right?
free 3 alpha packs
Oh,
is effectively,
Yep.
because like that's really cool. I think it's really really awesome, and I'm always happy to see that when there's all these like additional additional side events, because as much as I love competing in the big stuff, like some people just like to go there for vibes,
Well, and
and it's great.
there's a lot of artists that'll be there. I mean,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like 8 different artists at least.
Mhm.
And the cosplay
Yeah.
contest, the new rules makes me so happy. I can't wait to. That's one of the things that if I can, I'm going to try to do for the Chicago one. Hopefully, they'll have something similar. But they've revamped the cosplay contest rules. So there's 3 categories for best rookie, up to 4 tailors, and 4 prize for participation. So that means there's theoretically a chance I could get a tailor, because I'd be considered a rookie. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of maybe look at what my options would be if I can
There
do
you go.
something. I thought about doing. I'm going to give away my hilarious thing. I have access to laser cutters. I have access to AutoCAD, and I feel like I could do something that's hilarious for being a rookie. That would involve laser cutting and AutoCAD. So I'll leave it at that for now. But
There you go.
I think I have an idea. Who knows? I guess I wouldn't have to worry about copyright infringement because I think it's considered cosplay, so it wouldn't have to be a huge concern.
What? Wait a minute. I'm thinking about something stupid. I'm just sitting here, just like, there's no way he's just gonna cosplay an actual cardboard cutout of a card. Like, how crazy would that be, right? Like, oh my god.
Well, we'll see what might come
We'll
shake
see what
out of
happens.
this. So,
Oh, shit. Well, I can't wait to see
the
it.
good news is I don't have to fly, and I have a very large car.
Mm-hmm. You can bring it all yourself. When's that Jarl cosplay coming in?
Oh man, I have so many. So this is going back to this is not related to this necessarily, but we talked earlier about some 3D printing stuff, so I'll showcase it because this is the world we live in. So like there's a Magikarp that's 3D printed. That's pretty sweet. This is the baby Magikarp I tried first because that was cute. Not related to Flesh and Blood, but maybe because we do have beasts of significant portions. Tis not done, but this is another type of printing. This is called resin printing, and that is a. Oh god, I broke it. No,
Oh,
just kidding.
there it goes.
Fell apart. But this is a multi-part kit that I have been printing and building. This is a T-Rex, rar. Very.
That's
I mean,
cool.
that thing is huge, but the detail on it is unbelievable. Like when I started looking at it, so like the things you can do now with this kind of stuff. I still have the tail and some other things to do, but like it gets unreal with what technology can allow individuals to do. So
Absolutely.
just as long as you try to learn it. But it's so cute. It's like a little. I could put it on my head. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'm gonna shut up and go back to Flesh and Blood now. But I am wearing a dinosaur. Dinosaurs can't read, and then that's how they died. So.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, that's enough on cosplay because I'm cosplaying a dinosaur. Looks like there are some merch booths that'll be there and a bunch of vendors. Some pretty interesting names. I've actually never heard of, truthfully, any of the vendors that are going to be there, other than PCG. But the other ones are, I'm assuming, stores that all exist in Japan that are carrying the product. So, cool. That's awesome. I'd love to see some video of what they look like.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a really cool time. I'm sure the floor is going to look really nice, and it's going to be just a blast. I mean, like, go get your card signed by artists. Go get artist proofs. You can jam games of your favorite formats just sitting at the tables. You've got, I mean, you're in Japan, for God's sake. You can go get some super amazing food in between rounds of things. You go do a Blitz event. Go get ramen. Go do a commoner event. Go get more ramen. You can there's the amount of things that you have available to you is crazy, and genuinely, I'm really, really jealous, and I wish I knew how everybody else was able to afford a plane ticket and also boarding in Japan, because I would love to have gone to this.
Yeah,
because it's just going to be special.
It's not expensive. Yeah, it's going to be special. It's not cheap. I know for a fact that if I were to need to get me, the wife, to go, I would definitely, we'd have to go to the Pokemon Center. We'd want to go to so many other
Right.
places in Japan. Like, I would almost have to make a solid month out of it. Like, I would be so disappointed with myself if I could only do X amount of things. And if
Yeah.
you're there for the actual event, right? Like, I'd probably go and spend like a day in the event, and then I would just at that point be like, I'm leaving and going doing all the cool stuff because I'm in another country. So,
Right.
two middle finger salute. I'm out the door, guys. Bye. Like,
It's hard to not make a vacation out of it, like
oh
you're
yeah,
like if it's like in a state away, you're just like, okay, I'm just there for the event and I'm leaving. But like
Yep.
if I'm paying for a plane ticket to Japan and then also paying for boarding in Japan, I'm not just gonna go play Fab. I'm gonna go everywhere I possibly can because it could be the last time I'm in Japan.
yeah.
So
See the world, play the game, see the world. Like that's the mantra. So
That's
it's
the
a
one.
little bit of both. It's backwards. Dyslexia time. Isasidad. Got it. Love it. All right. World Championship. Back on some fun stuff. I don't need the all mech deck list anymore. That is not going to be useful for this conversation. So I think one of the things I'd like to maybe touch on is we have Ira. We talked a little bit about that in I think another episode. So that's exciting. There's some of these like Japanese anime like Viserai and Dorentia and New. Obviously, those are going to be highly sought after. Me personally, I only really care about the Ira, but that's only like a little bit.
If anybody listening can get me a Japanese Viserai and a Japanese Ira, I will do anything. And I mean that legally binding. Please, because those are the two heroes I want out of all that. I do think the Dorinthia looks really good. And then I think, oh God, I already forgot who else was.
I want the 5th anniversary pack Ira Scarlet Japanese exclusive. Now it does say Rosetta sealed 15,000 YP, but what I don't understand is let's talk about the supposed hush hush mentality of these special 5th anniversary packs, because it says in parentheses Japanese exclusive Ira Scarlet Revenger in the 5th anniversary pack. But I have a feeling that similar to this pack in my hand here, right? So like, okay, this is the Ira pack. You open it up, right? So you'd be like, all right, here's your Ira pack. You're going to get your first card's going to be Ira. I feel like there's going to be more than one card because the judge packs have more than one card. But like, let's say you would get 3 cards. So you get like the Ira card, and then there's going to be maybe a pile or pool of like. There's got to be some spice in there. I don't know.
I am certain there is more than just one card in there.
What is your thoughts? Like, what could it be? Because if there's a dash, I'm going to lose my freaking mind.
I think I don't know what it could be, but what I know what it shouldn't be is exclusive heroes only printed in this 5th anniversary pack.
I feel in my heart of hearts that James and LSS is smart enough not to do that because of the turnoff that would have for the community.
And I believe that wholeheartedly, but I also am looking at, this is a conversation that I've had, not to say, first and foremost, not to say that LSS and the people over at Flesh and Blood are doing a bad thing, but from what I have experienced from people reaching out to me in the community, and also from what I've seen through other means, is that when we are having, at least from the LGS level, right, a lot of people were upset about there not being a more intense, like, 5th anniversary thing for everybody, right? And they are doing those 5th anniversary events for LGSs, but only LGSs that are like eligible to do that. I'm not sure what that requires of an LGS to do. But on top of that being the requirements, there's also only 16 IRAs in a pack given to a store to give out to players. So if you run an event with 20 players and you only have 16 IRAs, somebody's not getting IRA. So in that situation, it's not like, it's cool that they're at least being able to give them out. And I only expect that LSS has a goal in mind for the future to print IRA again in a different set or whatever means. But I said the same thing about Blaze, and we still haven't seen anything about Blaze. So
I mean, we
it's
are only
very weird.
we are only 2 months past Blaze now. Yeah, I will go with at least. I'm gonna wear the Bastion hat. I'm gonna defend the Fab hat for a minute. If I could grab my LSS hat, it's off to the side, but I like this one better. Don't get me wrong; it's not that it's a bad hat, but I hate the flat. Like this is more my
It's
jam.
literally what I'm wearing right now. Send that hat to me. I'll take it off your hands.
The 5-year pack and the Blaze, I don't know if they can be comparable. I think the Blaze was originally marketed, and the idea behind it was the invention or convention exclusive to get people to go to those events. And I think that they realized very quickly that became like the Nephthali Dragon in Magic the Gathering, which was, if I remember right, it was the special card given out at like Dragon Con in the early years of Magic. It was a very exclusive, hard to get card. Now, granted, at this day and age, that card is worth basically jack of nothing. But if you look at it from another perspective, I think that they're going to be able to take the Blaze card, and sooner or later, you probably will see that in a expansion slot as her as a Majestic Hero non-foil, or you may see that as a Blitz deck or an Armory deck because it's young hero, right? Because it's not an adult, if I recall. Blaze is only young.
Blaze is just a young hero.
So it's not going to come in an Armory package or an Armory Origins deck, or maybe they are crazy and it will come in an Armory Origins, and the only reason that Blaze was in young, right, is because the only places that can be played right now are Blitz, UPF, possibly PvE, wink wink, I don't know, and I guess common or young. Like I don't know of any other, like the other formats, CC, it doesn't even count, just like Shiana doesn't count, and just like the Emperor doesn't count. Those heroes.
Well, it's funny because I think she's not even able to be played in commoner. Clash, we've allowed her to be played.
Okay.
But commoner, technically, because she is a promo hero,
it's not a common.
She is not a common or rare or token, so she is not able to be played in commoner, which is fine. I mean, like, we have Kano and everything too there still, so it's not like it's the end of the world. But I guess like I don't expect them to print anything specific in this thing other than like special goodies for being like, thank you for being here at the event for Flesh and Blood. That is what I expect to be in there, is like maybe you get one of each of these Japanese promos, and then like also a couple cool like Japanese exclusive promos for cards that are already printed and have a non-foil version in a set, or in a set somewhere.
You don't think it's going to be random in any way? Because I feel like it's definitely going to be like a judge pack random. There's going to be a small pool of cards. The reason I
would hope it isn't. If it is random, first, it shouldn't really be random, because if each pack is coming with an Ira in it, then they're already seeded to be specific in that way. I know that if they are random, if they are random packs that do not contain the same thing as every other pack, there are so many people, unfortunately including myself, who are going to look at these packs and they're going to go, wow, that's just Magic 30th anniversary all over again.
Well, and that's what does
don't want
concern
that.
me. Because I see that people are selling, like on the Purple Discord, the Worlds packages are selling for $300 to $400 for like just the version that you get, the Ira, the Japanese, basically beautiful playmat, the non-Japanese Ira sleeves, and one of the or heroes. So it looks like you get one of them. But the person that was selling, like this person here, was selling their Worlds package for $900, two available. Don't know how the hell they pulled that off, because the only way to get two of them was to have two different people show up to the event for two different things. So whether that's him and his buddy, again, more power to him, hustle's hustle, but that's not what I'm happy about. But they're basically generating, in this scenario here, $1,800 for walking in the door saying, ka-ching, thank you, sending that off to somebody. Now they got $1,800, so they've doubled their money. Granted, they are paying for the trip somehow. Maybe that's part of what they're doing. But that's just one example of multiple I see on there that have already been posted for sale.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's going to be people who are trying to like get the most value out of it, right? Like, I think that at the end of the day, the price is going to be what people are willing to pay for it. And if people are not willing to pay $900 for it, then those guys have wasted their money and are, if that was the whole reason they were going to to the World Championship was just to get these promos and then scalp them, then they wasted their time, and they'd be happy to even get their money back in that situation. But
I shouldn't have
think
looked at the buy here sell. Somebody's selling an uncut sheet of Rosetta. I
Ooh.
think that must have been one of the prizes that they got for like the LSS giveaway. I think. That's
well, they
one of
also
them.
have those at prize walls and stuff like that too.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So you can still get them from prize walls, which is another thing that you're going to be looking for when you're doing side events at Worlds. Is you can get tickets to go and get these prize wall things, and the prize wall stuff is really cool, like uncut sheets of Rosetta, and some of them are like uncut sheets of like Marvels from Rosetta, like really pretty stuff.
The one I wanted, somebody's wants 15,000 for. It's the Meklovassen uncut sheet.
15,000?
Yep, because everybody thinks they have gold. I mean, the individual card's worth a lot. Don't get me wrong. I get what they're trying to do.
Is it like 9 Marvels of
more than
Singularity?
Than 9. 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 20 of them.
20 in a sheet?
Yes.
All of them being the Marvel?
I'm sending you a photo now. That was the file exceeds style. Oh, I can't. Let me see if I can send you the link to it. If you just type the word uncut in the purple Discord, you can find it. It's easy enough. Womp womp womp. Yeah, I can't.
Let me see.
I can't easily. I can save the image, but apparently I can't.
Oh, no worries. I'll find it here.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, okay. So off of that train, basically, you get the 5-year pack, you get the box, you get a Japanese Ira sleeve, which honestly they look so beautiful. I wouldn't want to crack it open. I have some odd, I have like a Starvo sleeve set and some other ones that are pretty like off the cuff. You don't see very often anymore. And as much as I'd love to play with those sleeves, I kind of think that they're better to leave sealed, because you can always open them up, but you can't necessarily, if you damage them too much, you can't play with them. Now, at least in Flesh and Blood, you're talking 60 to 80. If there's 100 cards, you got more, room for damage compared to like a Commander where it's 100 cards, you got 100. You damage one, you can't use the whole thing. So
right.
I still think that artwork is just fantastic. Honestly, the playmat is I'm more interested in playmats than I am the sleeves. But if I could get a 5-year anniversary pack, hell, even the empty wrapper, I would be thrilled to just own the wrapper. That's one of the things that I want to do, is collect all the Judge packs. And I want like the wrappers from the Judge packs just to have, so I could have my wall art of like that stuff. But I get it. People are probably not going to do that. Anyways.
I mean, a pack, I think you can certainly get. I think if you're at an event and you're at enough events, people will just give you wrappers.
Oh, sure.
That's a thing. But like, that's when it comes down to what I believe this 5th anniversary pack is going to be, is I hope it is the same cards in every pack. That way it is not some kind of crazy booster game where there's one individual card that is more rare than everything else. And if you didn't get it,
pack. I think it's basically a Judge pack. If I were to put my money on the table, my chips are, this is basically a Judge pack for non-judges. That's a celebratory 5-year thing. That's where I'm going to put my chips. And hopefully, we're
gonna have to see, because October 31st, I'm sure we're gonna figure out what are inside these 5th anniversary packs. So
heck yeah,
that'll be exciting to see, and I'm very, very curious to see what it's like. Because again, if there are exclusive, and like technically you can consider Ira an exclusive hero, but like Ira's in it for her special version of herself, her alternate art version, and not like that, even though you can use the alternate art version as a hero. But it is what it is.
Wild theory time. Playtest cards. They put playtest cards in them that they basically are giving out playtest cards. That's my theory. This will be on the internet before it happens, so if it happens, I can be like, look, I called it. I did it. I've only ever, I think, made 2 good calls. Well, I forget the other one. Something happened and I got it right. I never even said it. Like, I don't even remember going back and be like, hey, look, I got that right. I never even went back and was like, look, I did it. But I know I've actually called a couple of things and I'm like, hey, that's impressive, but I've never really actually gone back and done anything. Whatever. Yeah.
So far, the only thing that I've done that I've ever called is that I technically, while I didn't ever name a hero, I technically called that the next Armory deck was going to be an Elemental Guardian. So that is kind of cool. But outside of that, the only thing I'm calling is that this next set James White, Brian Gottlieb, if you're listening, this next set better be a return to Volcor, so help me God. Because if I don't get any more Draconic support for the next year, I am going to be so still in love with your game. But like, dang it, I just need Draconic stuff. I need more of it. I need more heroes in Draconic. I need more play styles in Draconic. I need Viserai to go back to his homeland of Volcor and do Draconic Runeblade stuff. And I think that would be so cool. But I get that we're not going to get another Runeblade thing after Rosetta. So
I mean, okay, think about this though. So I'm gonna flip this on its head. There's a keynote that happens at most major events. Now, we had the 5-year thing that was kind of an off the grid kind of a thing. That was not, I mean, it was scheduled, but it was not at a major event. That's when they released Jarl, Harl, Carl, whatever his name is. I'm always going to screw that up. So that was the first of those heroes from Legend. Now, in reality, there could be, and this is where I think if you're going to spec on buying your stuff, I'd buy it before that event happens, because I would almost imagine that if you're buying certain things, like if they announce a Draconic thing, right, all those dragons, all the Phi stuff, all the ninja stuff is just going to loop right out the door. But I think typically they put a timeline out. So wouldn't there typically be like, here's the next X amount of time? Because at the Rosetta World premiere, did they give a timeline into, they just kind of gave some stuff on the saying there's like 3 sets next year, and there's a couple... like they're going to have those armory, like an introduction of a new hero. That prophecy was fulfilled. They gave us that, but they really didn't go into very much more specificity other than there's a new set coming. So I don't know. No mention of PvE, no mention of UPF, no acknowledgement of any of those kind of systems. I'm just going to have to wait on the PvE thing. I get that, but like maybe there's more announcements at the Worlds.
There is going to be announcements at Worlds. We are going to learn more about the next set at Worlds. That has been confirmed on that 5th anniversary thing. And the only thing that I could think of, we've had some, if I recall, and of course anybody can tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. During the 5th anniversary stream, we learned a couple of things. We learned one, that mentors are going to be coming back in a set sooner than we think.
Correct.
Is what James White said.
Yep.
The second thing is we know that the 3rd set and the final part of the War of the Monarch trilogy is not set to be released until 2026. So there are going to be mentors in a set soon, or a product soon. And then there's also not going to be, so it's not going to be Light and Shadow for a year, which means that if you're looking to get into Light and Shadow heroes, you're probably in a pretty good spot, because you're probably not going to get a whole lot of support over this next year outside of maybe like a couple cards in an expansion slot. But the other things is like, you know, when we think about everything, I made a whole video that talked about how I believe that because Kasai won and Kasai was going back to Volcor, we were going to get another set in Volcor, and that was just like the timeline that worked out better for it. Obviously I had found out that the creative team had something set up for all 6 of the heroes, and I don't believe that they would have changed production directly related to who won the deathmatch arena. But I do know that Volcor is, I mean, the last time we were in Volcor was 2 years ago. 2 years ago we were in Volcor. And it's about time, I would say.
Ninja. Then the old one was Mechanologist. Before that was unless this was Bard. So then you have, sorry, I'm going right back here. Brute, Guardian, and Warrior. Guardian, Warrior, Brute. Okay. I just did my unofficial tally. I will send the photo so you can see what I did. I looked at, I did Fabry. I went and looked at the moniker for all of the hero classes based on the spread. And if you look at Rosetta, Rosetta had Runeblade and Wizard. I'm ignoring talents for now. So you had Runeblade and Wizard. Those 2 got crossed out. Then before that, Parth Misfit had Assassin, Illusionist, and Ninja. So boom, boom, boom. Then you had Brute, Guardian, Warrior, and Heavy Hitters, and then Mechanologist. So if you go back one further to Dusk Till Dawn, that would have been in June of 23. So
Yep.
you would have been in almost more than an entire year. But you had Brute, which is already on that list. Illusion is already on the list. Runeblade already on the list. Warrior. The things that haven't got anything are Adjudicator, Bard, and Ranger. So the next set is going to be the merry adventures of the Bard, telling the rules committee how to commit treason while the Ranger's going and sniping somebody from the back. So we got a triple threat. Heard it here first. Ranger, Adjudicator, and Bard. That is my new theory. I'm sure it's bullshit. But
so Melody's getting an adult hero.
Yes.
Lexi's coming back, and she's going to be Earth this time instead of lightning and ice. Typanis is going to be creating as an adult hero, and he's just going to tell people, hey, stop doing that thing.
I mean, I'm going back to my ghetto lore book here, but Bard is actually still printed on the original professions page. Alchemist is in there, and remember, James White always said, get your trinkets. So maybe it's going to be an interesting Bard, Alchemist, because Adjudicator is really for judges, so I don't see them doing that, but maybe they I'm imagining the Necromancer and Cleric thing, that sounds like that's going to be down the road, but I don't know. If they want to fulfill and fill out the rest of this thing, that seems like a logical next step, but they haven't really released enough lore recently to really nugget in some stuff. And
I mean, to be fair, the last time, that's another thing too, and something to truly announce at the 5th anniversary and the 3rd World Championship of Flesh and Blood,
or a whole new class.
That's what I'm saying, is a whole new class. Because the last time we got a new class was Dynasty, right? Yep. Assassin came out in Dynasty,
which is November of 22.
Right. So it's been about 2 years.
So
either it's going to be Draconic stuff, or we're going to get a new class and a bunch of cool other things, and it's going to be fun, and I'm excited about it. I wonder if they're going to do, if they do a whole class, I wonder if they're going to do a whole class like they did with Bright Lights, where it's just that class in the set as a draftable thing.
That would be, so again, going back to the funny, theory crafting component of this, right? We have the pirate theme with the Trench of Sunken Treasures. We have the Necromancer, or I think I'm referring to it more as a witch doctor or a shaman, because in the lore, shamans are mentioned in the lore, I believe. So if I go to Legendary Stories, because I can actually search on there, if I type in shaman, S-H-A-M... how do you spell shaman again? S-H-A-M-A...
S-H-A-M-A-N?
S-H-A-M-A-N. Yeah, so the world of Wraith, people, crafts, shaman legend speaks of powerful shamans capable of creating incredible specters with their waves of hands. Now the shamans are best known for their work within the Everfest, creating breathtaking displays, manipulating the flow around them. So, Starvo 3.0, who is a shaman.
You want to hear something crazy?
What?
You know what I just found out? I looked up Necromancer on Legendary Stories, and comes up with a thing from the Patrons of the Forbidden.
Yep. That article.
So it's right there. They say biomancers, arcanists, wizards, conjurers, summoners, witches, necromancers, alchemists, and mechanologists number among those who now reside within the mansion, each with their own agenda and field of study. So right there, if you wanted to just take keywords, that's 6 new classes that are just right directly in there. So
Arcanist, Conjurers, Summoners, Witchers, Necromancer, Alchemist, and then Mechanologist. So yes, you have, at minimum, if you get rid of Wizard, Biomancer, Arcanist, which I don't really know what Arcanist would be, but maybe Conjurers, Summoners, Witches,
Masters of the Arcane, essentially.
And and obviously I'd love more Mechanologists, but I'm not going to, But that right there is, if you're even talking 2 heroes or 2 classes or 3 classes, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different classes right there. Obviously not all in one set, but that partially, I need to look up when that Patron of the Forbidden actually came out. That's a pretty old article, I thought.
But something I do want to say though is that I think that you're at least on point with the next set having a ranger in it. I think the next set will have a ranger in it because that's what we're missing. We really are not we have not gotten new ranger stuff in since Aria Everfest.
What
right?
if what if you think it's like a
Outsiders? that's the last time that happened. Which Outsiders wasn't too far back, but Outsiders is still we have not gotten Rangers have not gotten anything extreme, and now that Lexi's not there, Riptide and Azalea are the only ones repping the Ranger route, and I think Azalea is doing great, but Azalea is slowly creeping up to Living Legend. Riptide is cool.
I mean, what classes are not in the game at the moment? If we were to look at the class structure and say these guys have lived, because I pulled up Living Legend, we haven't. I mean, we're gonna spend the last 20 minutes because I know we keep this about an hour. We're gonna talk about the Living Legend piece. So in the Living Legend system, the only ones that are out, we've Bravo, Briar, Chain, Dromai, Icelander, Lexi, Oldhim, and Prism. I believe every single one of them is talented, right? There's not a single non-talented on there. The next one coming up, which would technically be the first non-talent, is Dash. Phi is really close behind that, and then like you said, Azalea's close after. So what other Rangers are on this list? Well, if I recall, like you said, you got...
you have Riptide.
That's it?
You have Riptide. That's it. And that's why I'm assuming there's a new Ranger, is because you only have Riptide and Azalea. And
Lexi
said Living Legend.
Okay, so the young, because yeah, you're right. So that'd be a very solid pick, is a Ranger plus an introduction of another class. So kind of a yin and yang, at least, which would mean, or maybe a new take on Ranger. Maybe it's a Ranger with a talent. Another talented Ranger. How about another
Draconic Ranger? Please.
What about another Ice Ranger to work with the Ice?
No.
Hero?
Stop it, Jacob. Stop it. No. Did you not see who the Jarl is? Are you kidding me? Nobody else needs any. I'm gonna again. I don't know if I've even spoken of this on the channel here, but I think this is the first time I've actually looked at a hero and went, that's going to piss people off.
It's going to make me mad as a mech player.
First time. Yeah, it's everybody. I mean, just the amount of agency you have as a player because of the armor you have, only for the Jarl to go, hey, stop that shit. Turn it off. Turn it into a frostbite now, because now you just don't get to use it, right? Oh, you blocked for 2 points of value? Cool. Now you're never going to get to use your item again, or you're never going to get to use your equipment again. And now every time I play an ice card, I get to put a frostbite on you. And if you're at the point where you're just slamming down ice cards, I mean, there's not a lot of ice go again, but golly, it is just going to be an absolute stomp.
So,
and being able to just say hey, yeah, I'm gonna play Hypothermia, or I'm gonna play Blizzard. Okay, cool. Now you get a Frostbite, and now I can play a Channel Mount Ison, which makes every one of your Frostbites now deal you damage, and also cost extra resources to do whatever you're doing.
So real quick,
crazy.
Bravo was a Guardian plus other things, right? So that's one Living Legend. Briar was a Ruin Blade,
Bravo,
right?
So Bravo was just a Guardian, and then yeah. But, okay, so Bravo Star of the Show was an Elemental Guardian.
Yeah, but Briar was at least, I'm just looking at the core class, not the add-on. So Briar was a Ruin Blade, right?
Yep.
Chain is a Ruin Blade too?
Yep.
Okay, that's 2. Dromai is an Illusionist, right?
Yep.
Okay. Icelander was a Wizard.
Yep.
Lexi is a Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oldhim was a Guardian.
Yep.
And Prison was an Illusionist. Okay.
Yep.
Well, there's actually... Here, I made some marks on this. So anything that has a mark means that somebody Living Legend in that class. So when I look at that Fabry chart, that means Ranger, like you said, would be down to... Technically, it says 2. I don't know why. So if there's 3, I wonder if it's counting the young. Because if there's really... Oh, there's Lexi, Azalea. So when we assume...
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it'd be Lexi, Azalea, and Riptide. So when you assume Lexi's already living legend, and if you were to go with Azalea next, that would mean Ranger would only have one.
Right.
Illusionist, that I'm aware of, only has one currently.
2.
Oh, it's two.
Yep. Enigma and Prism.
Interesting. Oh, because Prism's the only one. Well, who's the other? Oh, because Dromai hasn't living legend just yet. No, Dromai has.
Now she has.
Are there 4? Because Dromai and Prism has living legend. So who's the other?
Not to throw you under the bus or anything, my guy, but Prism got a reprint as a new hero, right?
No, I guess I realize that, but I'm dealing with the data on the freaking February here, and that just tells me that their data is not completely accurate because it doesn't count. It does not show here that hero would be the 4th hero because it would be 4 illusionist.
Well, I guess I'm trying to figure out, like, because the data you're looking at here shows that the cards available to each class, like,
I just went down to the hero level, so theoretically I was hoping that they were like, yeah, you're right. There's Prisoner, the new one, which has 32 hit points. Dromai's gone. Enigma technically is an illusionist, so maybe this data is jank. Either way, I think Ranger has a solid shot. I think you're right. I think you're pretty.
I think Ranger is a good pick. I would kill for a Draconic Ranger. Please, for the love of God, in all things that are holy, give me a Draconic Ranger. I will simp no matter what. I promise you, I'll make it happen. But Draconic Ranger would be sick. Draconic, maybe even if we see the return of Yoji in the adult format, it would be sick. There's a lot that can happen in a Volcor set. But even still, right, if we get new Ranger stuff, I'm trying to think of like classes that would either be needed, right? Because if there's not going to be a new class,
Necromancer.
yeah, but I mean, like if there's not going to be a new class, right? If it's just classes that are out right now and they're not looking to make any new ones, like Rangers looks like a pretty good spot. I would certainly imagine if we're doing Volcor, we're probably getting, again, a new illusionist in Dromai.
I mean, the roster's 31 deep in Living Legend, and hypothetically, one of those will exit, maybe 2, like, because Worlds is worth 100. So the only character, even Phi, could not technically Living Legend, if I understand right, because they're not at 900. So the only option would be Dash. If the Calling and Battle Harden happen, that's 50 plus 25, that's 75 additional points. Even if Phi won all 3 of those, that's 175 points. That's still just shy of Phi falling to basically, let's call it Living Legend. So there could be a world where nobody Living Legends, and our roster for the next set, if they introduce 4 heroes, goes from 31 to 35. Right? Like, what's the magic number they're looking at? Because in my head, when I look at this, Enigma is shooting up like a skyrocket. Visceri is shooting up like a skyrocket. Enigma, Florian, Aurora, those are all shooting up like a sky, rocket. Zin has just basically stopped at 650. So, okay, we're going to go back to wrapping out here, but, like, what is your thought of, who has a good solid I'm not in tune with the meta. I make jank stuff, but like where obviously the Dash cards, in my opinion, make Dash a pretty serious, interesting thought. But I don't know if she can outpace. I mean, like I said, I was sitting next to a Aurora that the guy was just complaining because he was like, I full blocked with my hand, full blocked with equipment, and still took like 20 to 30 damage on turn 2.
Against Dash IO or against Aurora?
Against Aurora.
And Aurora does that. I would not be surprised personally if Aurora takes this world championship, only because the amount of, like, they took away every kind of drawing capability from several different heroes and classes, and then they printed Aurora and said, here's Channel Lightning Valley, a 0-cost lightning instant that you can play that says when you've dealt damage the first time your turn, draw a card. Like, you're gonna be doing that, and you get to combat trick your opponent at that time too, because your opponent could block effectively and just leave 1 point to leak through, and then you can go, cool, channel Lightning Valley, I get to get another card, and then I get to keep going wider, and then they get to keep that channel Lightning Valley. Even if that channel Lightning Valley stays out for 2 turns, that is already more effective as a card than anything else that they could put inside the deck. And you're able to just slam through a whole bunch of stuff. Lightning Press is a terrifying card. You want to make sure that you're getting your on hits in. You're playing a bunch of Cheerio stuff, so you're just going in for a bunch of wide, like super wide attacks. All of your stuff gets powerful buffs from the lightning cards, and you even get cards like Gone in a Flash, which I'm going to be honest is probably one of the most busted things I've seen in a while, because it's just cool, play it, deal damage, okay, cool, bounce it back to my hand, do it again, and then just like, I've seen people play Gone in a Flash 3 times in a row. That's way too many times a card needs to be played in a turn for 4 damage. A 0 for 4 with do it again is crazy powerful in a meta like this. And if you're able to just continuously provide those breakpoints and deal that damage, its consistency is really, really good too, because you're running a lot of those. The only time in which you run into an issue is if you're playing against fatigue. If you're playing against fatigue, like Enigma, like, you know, aggro is certainly beating out Enigma in a lot of places, but if you have heroes that just like to block, like Assassin or Guardian or any of that, like, you could easily end up getting, you know, decked out. A lot of your cards are instants, which block for 0, and your attack actions, they block for 2. So you're effectively just playing Ninja that gets to do some extra fun, spicy lightning stuff and sometimes deal arcane damage. But if you can't close out the game and your opponent is playing something like a Count Your Blessings Bravo, right? Like, you might not have enough to be able to make that happen. And if that's the case, Aurora might not take it. That's why, like, there's so many different answers, right? You know, Azalea is really, really good into Aurora, because Azalea can quite literally go, okay, cool, 12 dominate red in the ledger. What's your turn? Like, you don't have a turn. Okay, cool, I'll do it again. And then this time it'll be with 14 with 3 different ailments on the back end of it, and now you get to take that too. So if you think that Aurora is going to be the like biggest represented deck in there, it's better going with Azalea. Azalea can also beat Enigma, but that's because you have access to dominate, and like, you got to make sure you're giving the right things at the right time. I genuinely think that, now that I'm hyping it up, right, I think that Azalea is a fantastic pick if you're looking for kind of an all-rounder. The only thing that you run into is the fact that everybody else who expects Runeblade to be there significantly, whether that be Florian or Viserai, is going to be running Warmonger's Diplomacy. And Warmonger's Diplomacy ruins Azalea's game plan. Except for the fact that Azalea now has a arm piece that allows you to kind of get around that, but that's just a one-time deal, and in most cases you don't have enough pressure to be able to do something like that. So Azalea is a fine pick for me. I would personally, I think it'd probably be the most comfortable hero I'd bring to Worlds if I were to play, but that's just because the play style is so face up, right? It's just like, activate Skullbone. What's on the top of my deck? Do I like it there? Cool. Load arrow, do a thing, or like load arrow with the Death Dealer, and then Skullbone or whatever. Then you can Skullbone, look at the top. Is that a dominated arrow I want? Cool.
And that
Azalea,
reminds me of Dash IO
with
or not. Well, I guess it'd be Dash. Yeah, Dash IO now with basically data doll mesh with you know, Dash, because I can just constantly look at the top. The game I was playing, I was like in the middle of, because when you boost a card, theoretically, I believe, based on, again, some rules lawyer tell me, but when we were playing, you boosted that away at instant speed. I could look at the next card and be like, is that something I want to I don't know if I could interject, but I thought we found out that I could interject between that and then item search. So if I found a boom grenade as an example, I could item out that. Like, there's just some crazy deck trick stuff that Dash.io can do. Now add a bunch of those, cerebellum processors in there, and you can draw a crap ton of stuff. Like,
yeah, she's good. I think Dash also got a lot of really great tools too. Again, like that aggro package, it's the fear of the unknown is really what that's my favorite play style. It's why I liked playing Assassin. So
will a non-talented hero be able to, do you think, get in top 8? My question would be not who wins, but will there be any non-talented representation at the top of the ladder?
Yeah, absolutely there will be. So I know there will be.
As in, you think Azalea with not being talented, just being raw.
We have Azalea. We have Dash.io if people are able to pilot Dash.io well enough, and Viserai is also not talented. And Viserai is doing hot right now.
Okay.
So those 3 doing really good. Of course, the dark horse of everything, something that
Betsy.
This is not Betsy, but maybe that would be kind of funny. Count your Betsies. So it'll be a very interesting deck. But I think overall, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody takes Kano to a top 8 at Worlds. Because I think a lot of people are expecting AB1 for Runeblades, and they're going to make that call last minute and go, we're not going to need AB3. If people are playing Verdants, it's not going to work, or it's not going to matter. They're usually just pinging for a little bit and then pumping up with rampant growth, and at that point, you can't do anything in that regard. And then if you're going against Acilio is more than likely doing a bunch of attack actions and then doing a big amp, which AB3 also doesn't do anything with. It doesn't help you. So AB3 is probably not something anybody's going to run. And when Kano comes in, and Kano's able to drop all these 0-cost zaps off the top of his deck that he can surge off for a whole bunch of things and come in for a ton of damage, and your opponent's only running AB1, this is the time. This is the time for Kano players to commit and go, hey, are you prepared for this hero that got dunked on in the bans? Because even if they got a bunch of cards banned, it's still a very viable hero, because Kano won 6 pro quests last week.
Well, and everybody's so hush-hush about all their deck techs, and I guess I get it. They're trying to win cash money, real money, so people are always going to be whatever, but I don't know. I kind of even look at the Blitz side of the house, right? I mean, there's 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46 people on there. So we need to get Guinness What You Need up in there and Melody Sing Along. We got to get some Living Legend points for those folks in any of those.
Oh, there you go. You know what to bring to a skirmish next season, which actually is happening pretty close after Worlds. It's I think it's in December. We're having another skirmish season. So
that'd be fun to be like, yeah, I put her on the board, or I put Guinness on the board. Like, I just think that'd be the fun. Like, whoever got Cavdian for 1 point is like a legend in my opinion. Like whoever got that is the the
merchant.
Yes.
I'm telling you, that's the kind of the fun part. That's what's different between skirmishes and something like Worlds, is like you could look at some of these heroes and be like, how do I get me to win this? And like outside of like your entire skirmish conceding to you constantly, right? Like just be like, no, we want you to get points on the board. I'll concede.
I don't think they'd let that slide. I don't think that narrative probably wouldn't fly very well with somebody.
I mean, hey, it's all casual stuff. I mean, like at the end of the day, there isn't a whole ton of prizing normally at skirmishes, at least like prizing that's like Worlds. You're not getting cash prizing, you're getting like the promos, and that's about it, right? And so I think that it's a perfect time. I think truly if there was a situation, or even maybe not even if somebody was just like, yo, we're not going to concede to you, but if a 20-person skirmish and everybody brought Melody, then that's kind of a fun little thing to do. And like I imagine that's an article LSS can write up on that, like an all melody skirmish,
How do
like
you
to get
win?
her on the
Oh, I
board.
guess it'd be final act. That'd be the only way to really.
I mean, you could find other ways. There's generics galore in the game. You can certainly just get a bunch of generics and then like mix it in there. I personally haven't tested anything with melody, but like I'm
That's a
certain it's
funny
funny.
thought. Like, just have melody, but then basically run literally all generics and don't even care about the hero ability. Just try and
Yeah.
win out on the fact that you're gonna basically bank on excellent generics.
Yeah. I mean, Command and Conquer is a good card. Like,
Yeah,
I hate to
who
break it to
knew?
you. E-Strike, good card. Freaking, Scar for Scar, Sink Belows, Fate for Scenes.
Unmovable.
Let's name a whole bunch more. Yeah, Unmovable. The Weakest Link. You've got
Warmonger's Diplomacy. Just throwing that one out
Pummel.
there. Pummel.
Like you're able to make things work, and if people go into melody and they're just like, I don't know what to expect, and your answer is, I'm just playing a bunch of generics.
Could you imagine throwing in the Heart of Findel and then putting in I Have Ophidia in there as well, just for
right
fucking giggles?
for
Just be
kicks,
like-
right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. There are people out there who have that ability to do it, and even if, as long as you're having fun at skirmishes, that's always great. But the skirmish is happening in December. This World Championship is happening in early November, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be streamed, so make sure that you are going to be watching it if you are not able to attend, because it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of spoilers, a lot of things for new sets. Just like overall, it's going to be like celebrating the 5 years of Flesh and Blood all over again. We're going to get to see what comes inside those anniversary packs. We're going to get to see who takes home the winning cup of being a world champion. And I think it's just it's a great time to be a Flesh and Blood fan, honestly.
I concur. By the way, it sounds like the only barred weapon, because you got me going down that train, is Jinglewood, because apparently the Hummingbird's not legal in Blitz. So
That is correct. Yeah, Jinglewood is the only one that is currently available for.
or you could
Or
run
that.
Talishar technically. Gosh, okay, I
You
I
can
gotta
run
stop.
Talishar.
I gotta stop. I'm just gonna do this.
Listen, I run Talishar and Dash and freaking Commoner. Like, there's no other way to play her for me. You just play Talishar.
All
That's
right.
it. I see the gears turning. I see them.
Well, we're gonna have to have another conversation around that. That wraps up this episode of the Geek Speak. This is episode number 20. So thanks for hanging out with me. I know that this will probably be for the shortest one for a while. So hopefully,
There you go.
hopefully, if you don't get to attend Worlds, enjoy it. Watch the stream. I would be curious. My ballpark over under is, I think, for the World stream, I bet we as a community hit 4,500 concurrent viewers for this year Worlds during the final match. What do you think?
I'd say I think I'm probably going to be a little bit more under there and say 3,000.
Okay.
But that's just because I think we got nearly that number when the 5th anniversary was happening.
Yeah, I was just thinking
And
because
so-
Worlds might be a little big. I don't know. I with all the crap happening in the Magic world right now, I am kind of hearing murmurings locally of a lot of people looking at Flesh and Blood for the first time.
Oh, dude.
So
That's an entirely different freaking video we can make on that.
That's another topic I really want to have with you, because I know you play Magic. I used to play Magic a lot.
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts, but like there is this whole commander thing, and people are there are people literally I'm seeing that I don't even interact with that are like, I am proxying everything now. Like, I will not buy another product. I'm just going to enjoy the game by proxying. I'm like, wow, that's a gear shift from what it was before. So yep, just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time. Cheers. Bye. Ta-da. All right.
Ta-da!